Welcome to Random Thoughts. Ray Sean Blyden here. As you've now heard on Sunday, Joe Biden, they twisted his arm enough and gave him a golden parachute to drop out of the race. But what they didn't count on was him endorsing Kamala Harris, and that is what he did. Is that his big fu to the ones who forced him out? Because I think they wanted to have an open primary where they can anoint someone else who they feel is a worthy candidate to beat Trump, because they know Kamala is definitely one of the most disliked politicians ever. So let's get into this story here. Don't forget to leave a like and share. New: Joe Biden officially endorses Kamala Harris, complicates Democrat plans for a mini primary. And that is exactly what they wanted. In a historic moment, Joe Biden dropped out of the presidential race on Sunday. In doing so, he pledged to continue to serve out his term, a decision that will no doubt cause waves in the coming weeks, given the obvious contradiction concerning his condition. With that said, his initial announcement did not endorse Kamala Harris. That changed quickly, though, and Biden has now officially endorsed his vice president to become the Democratic Party presidential nominee. That's bad news for Democrat operatives who were hoping to bypass her for some more electable by holding a mini primary. I'm glad he did that. It really was a big smack in their face. I'm glad he did that. And so you can see Joe Biden's official X here say, "My fellow Americans, I can't talk like him. My fellow Democrats, I have decided not to accept the nomination and to focus all my energies on my duties as president for the remainder of my term. My first decision as the party nominee in 2020 was to pick Kamala Harris as my vice president." And so it goes on to say there that that's when he didn't endorse her yet. So what made him change his mind to endorse her? Who knows? Kamala must have gone in there and chewed them out. Who knows? I don't know. But let's continue. Does this mean Harris is automatically the nominee? The answer is no. But what this does is paint Democrats into a corner, which it does, because he fully endorsed her, and she's the so-called she would be the so-called first black president or female president. So if they cast her aside, many black people, not including myself, because I'm not in that 90% 90% who vote Democrat no matter what, when they see them, I mean, they already saw they forced Joe Biden out. That's a no-brainer. But if they force Kamala Harris out and don't allow her to be the rightful person to pick up the slack, they're already losing blacks as it is. It's gonna be even worse. So let's continue. With Biden having stepped aside, he's already done them a massive favor. For there to be any movement against Harris at this point would cause a huge rift within the Democratic Party. Yes, she's deeply unpopular and losing to Trump according to the current polling, but she's the vice president and she checks way too many intersectional boxes to be pushed aside. They're probably going to try, though. I don't think they're not going to try not to push her aside. In short, this could get really ugly going forward. Like I said in my swellcast, it's going to be a bloodbath, no pun intended, as when the DNC comes up in August. It's going to be maddening. You're going to have the pro-Palestine people clashing with the BLM people, clashing with the Antifa people. It's going to, and then the purple hair got ones. What is that guy's name? That little kid who's a snowflake soy boy who's always simping for Joe Biden. I can't think of his name. That kid who's clearly being paid to be an operative. I would love to look at his Twitter. I mean his TikTok feed to see what he's saying now. But let's continue. He's probably gonna. They're just gonna pay him to transition over to whoever the new one is. That goes to show you he has no mind of his own, soy boy. But let's continue. It's gonna get ugly. Either Harris is coordinated and there's some semblance of unity within the party, or others step up to challenge her, and you've got chaos. I think that's the way it's gonna go. Because anyone can see, Stevie don't have to wonder, that Kamala has no chance against President Trump. So the Democratic Party is a fractured mess of different factions, and Black Americans are one of the most powerful within it. To slight them would be a disaster. Regardless, no American voter. I saw this. Where was I? I was at Costco shopping, and I saw this guy. His T-shirt caught my attention. It said, I'm paraphrasing. It said to some effect, "I would rather be an American and never ever be a Democrat." Something like that. I couldn't pass him by without saying, "I love your T-shirt." So anyway, let's get back to this. No American voters should forget who lied to them. If the nominee does end up being Kamala Harris, she knew about Biden's condition. Of course she did. She was in the administration that covered it up and trashed anyone who dared question the official narrative. She is culpable, and the fact that she missiled voters is a genuine scandal. The fight has just begun. You won't be around. Okay, don't quit your day job, buddy. But I'm curious to know, what do you think? Especially if you're a Democrat, if you are a Democrat who voted in the primary for Joe Biden, how do you feel that they forced him out? Because no doubt they forced him out. If you try to look me in the eyes and tell me he wasn't forced out, he did this for the betterment of the party, I have a bridge to sell you in my house, because that's insane. You can't believe that. Biden is for himself. He's the big guy for 10%er. So I am certain, if I was a gambling person, that he had to have gotten a golden parachute to bow out. It makes no sense. He was adamant of staying in, and all of a sudden now he's bowing out. Yeah, they gave him an offer he couldn't refuse. One of the Clintons' offers, if you know what I mean. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Leave a like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.
Random thoughts, politics,